Good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. I have a student who has become my teacher. His name is Abe Mesrich. He is an amazing young man. And the insight that I want to share with you is something that I learned from him. So the central symbol of Pesach, which is commanded in our parsha, is matzah, to eat matzah on Pesach. Even the name of the holiday, we refer to it as Chag HaMatzos, the holiday of matzos. Matzah is central to Pesach. Why do we eat matzah on Pesach? If we look at it very carefully, we will see a passage in our parsha that provides a clear but maybe surprising insight. So the parsha begins, as last parsha, God has Moshe and Aaron tell Paro and the Egyptian people, let us go so that we can serve God. And then, last week's parsha and in our parsha, God brings terrors against the Egyptian people until finally the Egyptian people force the Jews out so that they can go to serve God in the midbar, in the desert, just as God wanted. But listen carefully to the psukim. So we have this 10th plague, the plague against the firstborn, this tragic, horrible, terrible plague. And Vayikra Moshe Aaron Laila, Paro called to Moshe and Aaron in the middle of the night. And he said to them, get up and go, leave. I give in. That's it. It's over. You're free. Go serve your God. That's it. Now, it was the middle of the night. It was sudden. So, let's pack. Let's get ready to go. Remember, they had been there for centuries. Let's at least prepare food for the journey. But listen carefully. Vatechazak Mitzrayim al ha'am. The people of Egypt came along and pressured the Jewish people lemaher l'shalcha min haaretz, in order to hurry them to leave Egypt immediately. Ki amru, because they said, they were afraid, kulanu mesim, maybe we're all going to die. There were many, many deaths that night. The Egyptians didn't know exactly what was going to happen. They were afraid maybe all of us are going to die. So they came and they pressured the Jews, leave now. Vayisa ha'am es b'tzeko terem yochbatz. And that's when the Jewish people took the dough. They were making dough to bake bread, to take with them, to be prepared for the journey. But the people took the dough before it had a chance to rise. Mish arosam tzurus besimlosam. They didn't even have a chance to bake it. They just took it as dough, put it on their shoulders, and they left. In other words, the people of Egypt knew that their only path to safety was for the people to leave, the Jewish people to leave and to be with God. So the Egyptians drove the Jewish people towards God before they were ready, before the bread could rise. That's why it was matzah. And here's the lesson. Sometimes we may not be ready to follow God. Maybe not yet are we ready to do a mitzvah, to take care of something important. There's still dough to make. There's still dough to rise. There's bread to make. But then someone else might need you to be close to God, not for your sake, but for their sake. And then it's not up to you anymore. It's not up to you to decide, are you ready to leave or do you need more time to prepare? Maybe sometimes our life with God is not always about us, but it's about what others need. And that's the lesson of matzah. We ate matzah in order to save others. And it became a mitzvah for us to eat matzah to remind us of our obligation, sometimes, to put the needs of others before our own. Now, at the same time, I've shared with you before the insight on the famous verse, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, you shall love your fellow as you love yourself, kamocha. You can only love your fellow as much as you love yourself. Judaism requires self-love and self-care. It's like the advice on an airplane in case of an emergency and the oxygen masks come down. Always put on your mask first before you try to help someone else. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you will not be able to help others. But matzah shows us that there needs to be a balance between self-care and selflessness. But when we think about how and when to balance that, there is a crucial truth that we must remember and we are seeing in action today. Recently, there was an article in the New York Times by Christina Karen, and she writes that not only now, but for some time now, we in Western society are facing an epidemic of loneliness. And she writes that one of the best ways to heal that loneliness that we have is to show kindness to others. Because volunteering to show kindness to others, in other words, acting selflessly and putting others' needs before our own, ease feelings of our loneliness because they broaden our social connections. And the opportunities to give back and to help others virtually right now are more commonplace than ever. Sam Boyd is the Director of Volunteer Management at Special Olympics Maryland, and she wrote, when volunteering, of course you're helping the people that you're volunteering for, but you can also get to know more about yourself and broaden your view of the world and heal yourself from loneliness. And in fact, a 5-year scientific study showed that helping others who do not live with you acts as a buffer against the negative effects of stress and can improve your own physical health as well. Self-care and selflessness are not opposites. Sometimes putting another's needs before your own can be the best thing you do for your own well-being. My friends, I want to wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing all of you soon in person.